rockstar colleague Travis Thompson, also applied class consulting senior architect. Travis and I were both part of a project where we built the first website in the United States to be entirely built in ServiceNow, Service Portal.
Okay.
Today we're hoping to share with you how we did that, and we're going to be breaking that down into 3 phases. So how we prepared for it, how we made sure we had the right people, the right material, everything before we got started. How we developed it, so some tips and tricks on how you can do that on your own company as well, and how we moved into enhancement and make sure that every release is better and better. Okay, so the first step is design. Your development success depends on it. It all started with a question. Can we build a website in ServiceNow? That is so important to us because we are a consulting company. We only specialize in ServiceNow. And more than that, we do everything ServiceNow internally. We build all of our internal processes in ServiceNow. So we thought, how come our website is not in ServiceNow yet? So we got together, we brainstormed the idea, and we decided to take a look into, is this actually a possibility for us? The first step was putting up a team together. For us, that meant architects, developers, designers, and most importantly, your customer. It's so important that you define a customer for any project you work on, really, because that's going to be the people you're going to go for feedback and also for getting requirements. Even though this is an internal project, for us it was important to define those folks, and for us that meant the marketing team, because they are the ones that need a website to just really showcase our work to our customers outside or external people. So that really helped us get success in this project. Alright, so once we had that, we got together our customers, our marketing team, and our designers, and we built prototypes. Now, I do that with all my service portals. Once you're building service portals, it just makes it a lot easier for you to prototype everything and have it all sketched in a visual place where you can just make sure that you're going to be able to architect it right. That also helps you not develop anything that you're not going to be using later on. User stories was also very helpful for us because we are a big team and we have people doing projects all over the place. Sometimes people get busy here or there. So actually having the senior architects putting all the requirements in stories really helped us be able to, for example, assign tasks to junior developers and really have a lot of people helping out with this project. Okay, so we are prepared. Now let's develop it. The first step is building your application. For us, we decided to do a scoped application over a global application. That's really good because it gives you security and safety. Once you're using scoped application, which is a blessing from ServiceNow, other business applications will not impact your scoped application. And also your scoped applications are going to impact the other ones. Also, it enables you to use versioning in Studio. If you are doing a service portal on a scoped application, make sure that you use Service Portal Core as a dependency because that way you're going to have access to all of its components when you're working on your scoped application. Okay, so when you're setting up pages in your Service Portal, this is pretty basic. Just make sure that you remember to check public. This is really what's going to make your page accessible to non-logged-in users. And then next, also your widgets. So make sure your widgets are also checked because sometimes you check your page as public, and then if your widgets are not public, it's also not going to show up on the page. And talking about widgets, this is really what I want to talk to you guys about. So we decided to build all of the widgets modular. That means that we have reusable content that we can use all over different pages, and we can have the same widget being applied to different contexts and different use cases. Here are some examples of that. So for example, this one, those are the same widgets, but they are used in different scenarios. Another thing about modular widgets is that also having the folks that are going to be adding content to this, so in our case, our customers, we want to make sure that it's easy for them to do that, and they can change the content by just doing clicks and not using code instead. creating modular widgets, we have two ways of doing that, and I'm going to be covering one by one. So the first one is widget options. This is really basic, just how you set it up. You go on your widget editor. On this side here, you have the hamburger menu. You just click in there, and right there you can set up your widget options. Options schema. One thing very interesting is this nice advice on building your widget options is that, for example, image is not one that is provided by default in ServiceNow. So if you want to use that, you can do it by what you just saw on the previous screen. You have to actually go on the widget record, and then on the options schema, you can just set up the object type as user_image, and that way that will give you an option where you can actually upload an image. This is very useful. It's very useful to us because we really want to use images on our website. And of course, you can just create widget options. You have to actually reference that on your code. Here are just some of the basic examples of how you can do that. This presentation is going to be available for you guys to download later on if you need to. So here, very simple, just referencing tags, for example, in your HTML string. You can, for example, make an object or just define a variable so you can access and define a script in your CSS. This is actually a cool trick, so you can use CSS on your HTML, usually by inline, but you can also reference to a function. What this one is doing is just creating an overlay color for a background. And once you have all that set up, this is where you actually added the content. So the people that you created this for, the admins, your marketing team, whoever it is, they can actually go in the portal, just Ctrl-click, and that you can select your widget options. And here you can change the content from it, and everything is instantly visible on your widget. Ctrl-click, instance options. Then you can see whenever you set it up here and you can just change it. Okay, so that's widget options. Now we have another way of creating modular widgets, and that is data tables. ServiceNow already has a few data tables out of the box, but you can also create a custom table, and that way you can store your widget options actually on your table. And the good thing about that is that it enables it to be more flexible. So things, for example, images. You can use any field type when you're creating a custom table and just pull that content from there into your widget. Those are two of the most famous ones in ServiceNow right now. When you are creating a custom table for your widget, I usually prefer to just create an extension of those two tables, because that way you can access the widget options straight from your widget. I'm going to show you that in a little bit. Otherwise, of course, you can use any table that you want and just do a glide record and pull your content from there. And this is how you set it up. Once you do decide the table that you're using for your widget, just make sure this is in your widget record. You set up the data table that you want. Then you choose the fields that you're going to be using on your widget. Now, if you paid attention to that and you did that, you're good to go. You just have to reference the same way that we did before, options.field name. If you didn't do that, you can always use AskMeGetValue function, which is very useful. You can pull any content from the data table that you set up by just using this function here on your code. And this is also very useful because if you do have a relationship table, let's say you have a child table from your data table and you want to pull content from there. So for example, menu options, an instance table, you can just add the table name in here, and then the field name that is a reference to your data table. So this is really useful if you have, for example, content where you have child tables, and from there you're just putting carousel